Good morning, nephew. I want to take this opportunity to let you and your brother know how proud I am of everything that you all are accomplishing. I want you to know from your uncle, you are the sons that I never had. You are the athletes that I wanted to be when I was in high school. I salute you. I look up to you. I love you. I want to take this opportunity to share some things with you that I hope will help you on your journey to greatness. Number one, put God first. Be real with God. I'm not telling you to be a holy roller. I'm not telling you to be a saint. Because I know and you know, if Unc had to be a saint, Unc ain't gonna make it. All I'm saying is, be real with God. Come to God and say, hey, this is who I am, God, and I respect you for who you are. Put God first. Secondly, you must always maintain a positive mental attitude. When you get the opportunity, look up on the internet, and you'll see a lot of it in my post on Facebook, and study the law of attraction. I'm here to tell you it works just like the law of gravity. Having a positive mental attitude is one of the most powerful tools that you can have in life and as an athlete. Let me give you two prime examples. Alexander the Great, arguably the greatest military leader there ever was. He took over the entire known world when he was king. He defeated an army that was 10 times the size of his army when he met Darius, the Persian king. How is that possible? That was possible because Alexander the Great believed that he was the son of Zeus. He believed he was divine. He believed that he was a god, unable to fail, unable to be defeated, that he had a divine right to reign, to rule, to dominate. And because he believed that, because he lived that, that's the way he trained, that's the way he fought. And he was able to bend reality to his will. That is the power of a positive mental attitude. Muhammad Ali said, I am the greatest. I cannot be defeated. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how fast you are. I don't care how tough you are. I am the greatest. And I cannot be defeated. He believed that. He lived that. And he trained that. Look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather will tell you that the fight is won in the gym. Long before you step into the mat, into the boxing ring. But what drives him to train the way he trains? Because he believes that he is the greatest. So when it gets hard, he keeps pushing. When he gets tired, he keeps pushing. Positive mental attitude. And that applies to everything in life. Don't ever say that there's anything that you cannot accomplish. With persistence, you can accomplish it. The same way a river can cut down through miles of rock, water, and create the Grand Canyon. With persistence and a positive mental attitude, you can accomplish anything academically, sports-wise, you name it. Positive mental attitude. In order to be the greatest, hear me when I tell you, nephew, you must fall in love with failure. You must fall in love with pain. Well, how am I going to be the greatest, if I'm failing all the time? Because you fail in practice. Every practice. If you're not pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion, you are not training to dominate. If you're not running so hard that you have to take a knee, you are not training to dominate. If you're not hitting until you can't hit anymore, you are not training to dominate. Because in order to get to the point where you can dominate, it's something physiological, and it's half physiological and half psychological that you have to master. And what that thing is, you must develop the ability to flip the switch inside of your body from aerobic respiration, which is where your body burns energy by using oxygen, to anaerobic respiration, which is where your body, once it is out of oxygen, it flips the switch and continues to burn even hotter. The only way you can do that is to push yourself to the point of failure every day. And what happens? You hit that wall, and eventually you will run right straight through that wall. You will create a path through that wall where you won't even hit it no more. You just simply go to that point and keep on going. You will know when you hit the wall. Why? Your lungs will be on fire. Your muscles will be on fire. But you got to keep pushing. And if you keep pushing like that in practice, what is going to happen is eventually you will get to the point where you will hit that wall, and for a split second you'll feel a little discomfort in your lungs, a little discomfort in your muscles. That switch will flip, and you will catch another gear, and you will be prepared to explode like a nuclear explosion. Push yourself to the point of failure, to the point of pain, every practice, be it football, be it wrestling. That is what is going to separate you from your peers. because they're going to be afraid to push themselves that hard. I don't want anybody to see me having to take a knee. Well, I'm here to tell you, nephew, if you ain't pushing yourself hard enough that you have to take a knee, you cheating yourself, and you will never develop the ability to dominate. That's what it comes from. The path to success is littered with failure and pain. Philip, the king of the father and the king before Alexander the Great, said these words: kings are made by steel and suffering. The steel must be your character, and the suffering is the thing that you are willing to go through to make that steel harder and harder and harder. You must develop the ability to become ambidextrous. The Bible says that a man should walk circumspectly. That's 360 degrees. That means you can pursue down the line to the left just as well as you pursue down the line to the right. You're just as adept at running backwards as you are at running forward. You can go over, you can go under. But I'm telling you to take it to even another level higher than circumspectly. Go past 360 degrees to 365 degrees. How do I go to 365, Unc? It's only 360 degrees in a circle. That's because that's in the physical world. In the world of imagination, there's another 5 degrees. And that is what will separate you far above your peers. It is more important what you can imagine than what is actually physically possible. Because once you can imagine it, it becomes physically possible. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So you need to think those additional 5 degrees. Can I really dive over my wrestling opponent, tackle him and pin him? Can I really dive backwards over his head and pin him? That's that extra 5 degrees. And guess what? If you can do it on the wrestling mat, you can do it on the football field. Because all you're doing is wrestling that running back, wrestling that quarterback to the ground. But you must think 365 degrees, and you must develop the ability to be ambidextrous. When you attack your opponent, you can attack him going left just as well as you can attack him going right. You can attack him going over the top just as well as you can attack him going up under the bottom. Most people, they focus on one side. Most coaches teach that. And it is a weakness. The reason why your uncle at 47 years old can step in the ring with heavyweights 40 and 50 pounds larger than I am, pros, and beat them into submission is because I am ambidextrous. I can fight with my right hand first. I can fight with my left hand first. It's called being able to fight southpaw and fight conventional. By the time they figure out what tricks I got going on southpaw, I done switched over to convention. And by the time they figure that out, They're gasping for breath, if not being carried out of the ring. Ambidextrous. Don't be lazy like most people and only be concerned with, I can only pin a guy if I go to the left. I can only pin him if I go to the right. I can only pin him if I go under him. I can only pin him if I jump over him. Be able to pin him and escape from him in 300, not 60, 365-degree radius. Not what is possible, what can I imagine? Because if I can imagine it, then it becomes possible. Become like water. Water flows effortlessly down the mountain. But that same water that's flowing effortlessly down a mountain can crash, tear homes off of their foundation, pick cars up, and toss them in flood zones. As you are going down the line, seeking that running back, seeking that quarterback, seeking that wide receiver, you should be totally relaxed like water, floating, not even breathing hard, relaxed. When that blocker comes up, you relax. You just swimming past them. You ain't trying to bang over. That takes too much energy. Relax. As the play develops, you flowing with the play. And then when you get to the quarterback, then when you get to the running back, then when you get to that wide receiver, that's when you crash. That's when you focus that energy like a tidal wave getting ready to hit the shore. And you destroy them. You hit that quarterback so hard. You hit that running back so hard. You hit that receiver so hard that they hearing footsteps for the rest of the game. If they even survive to finish the game. Flow. Crash. And able to continuously do that, you have to develop the ability to get and stay in the zone. The zone is not some mythical place that people talk about. I have gone to school and been trained by the military. It's called being a master resiliency trainer. How to stay in the zone. Here's how you stay in the zone, nephew. You breathe deep and slow. You're on the field. You're on the mat. And with every breath, you're imagining that you're standing in the middle of a glacier and you're breathing in ice cold air and it's calming you down. And every time you exhale, you imagine heat leaving your body, fatigue leaving your body, tiredness leaving your body. Why is that important? Let me explain to you why that's important, nephew. Because your body has what's called a sympathetic and a parasympathetic nervous system. Now, when we are afraid or upset or nervous, What our brain does, it sends a message out to our body. It shoots all of the blood flow to your large muscles in your arms and your legs, and it speeds up your breathing. Why? Because back in the days when you had to outrun lions and dinosaurs and all kind of craziness like that, or chase down a buffalo for your next meal, you can't even have to think too much. You just got to figure out how to get up out of here. But there's another level that you need when you're in sports. It's called being in the zone. And when you stop that quick breathing and start breathing deep and slow, that tells your brain I need to be in the zone. And what it does is it causes your body to shoot a large amount of blood flow to your large muscle groups. But then it also sends a special amount, an increased amount of blood flow to what's called your frontal lobe in your brain. That's that thinking part of your brain. That's that 5% that I'm talking about, that 365 degrees. That's going to allow you to figure out, that's going to allow you to imagine, it's going to allow you to see what is not there. That is how you stay in the zone, by controlling your breathing deep and slow, controlling what's called your visual imagery, imagining that you standing on that glacier, breathing in ice cold air, breathing out heat, breathing out fatigue, breathing out pain with every breath. That's how you stay in the zone, nephew. That's the secret. In order to do the things that I'm explaining to you right now, nephew, you gotta have a why. Why am I going to do these things? And if you really want to understand the power of a why, you need to seek out a special person that I'm going to tell you to go and talk to. Because that person can explain why to you better than most people in the world. You need to seek out your mother. And you need to ask her, what kind of a why allowed you to push me and my brothers and sisters into this world? What kind of a why allowed you to endure that pain? What kind of a why allowed you to stand at the doorway of death? Because that is as close as a woman can get to death and live to tell about it is during childbirth. That same type of a why is what you need to have burning in your soul, nephew. So when your arms hurt, when your lungs hurt, when your back hurt, when your neck hurt, when you're tired, when you're bleeding, you keep pushing, just like she kept pushing to push you and each one of your brothers and sisters into this world. Sit down and ask her to explain what that kind of why is. And let her keep explaining it to you until you understand it. Until you can swallow it inside of your soul and develop your own why. Because at that point, The same why that it takes to birth a child into this world is the same why it takes for you to birth your dreams into existence. Why, nephew? Why? Nephew, I wish I could be at every game. I wish I could be at every practice, at every match. But if you listen to the information that I have given you here today, I'll be there, nephew. I'll be right here. And I'm going to tell you something that pushes me, nephew. And it has caused me to almost become an indestructible athlete. When I'm in the boxing ring, or when I'm training, I remember my father when he was that last day. Remember, your uncle was there when your grandfather drew his last breath. He fought for every breath he took. When I'm fighting, nephew, when I'm training, when I'm running, when I feel that fire in my lungs, I feel my father. Every breath I take, that is my why, nephew. And that's why I cannot be stopped in the boxing ring. You will have to kill me. Because I watched my father walk through the doorway. So there's nothing on this earth that I fear. There's no pain that I will not endure. That's my why, nephew. And if you develop a why with that kind of power, with that kind of passion, I promise you, there's no dream on this earth that is too big. There's nothing you won't be able to accomplish, be it on a football field, be it academically. There's no wall that you will not crash through, climb over, climb under, fly over. Develop your why, nephew. Develop your why. I love you, nephew. You and all of my nieces and nephews, as though you were my own children. And you all are also my why. So remember these words, nephew. You were born to reign. You were born to rule. And when you step on that mat, when you step on that football field, you are not there to compete because there is no competition. You only compete with yourself. You are there to dominate. When you step into what other people call competition, for you, nephew, it's showtime.